You're about to discover planets so terrifying, so utterly hostile to anything resembling life, that they make the worst places on Earth feel like a tropical vacation. We're talking worlds where it rains molten iron, where glass shards fly sideways at 7 times the speed of sound, and where an entire planet is slowly being devoured by its own star. These are the most nightmarish exoplanets ever found, and every single one of them is real. Let's start with number 5. TRES-2b, the darkest planet in the known universe. You know what coal looks like, right? One of the darkest substances you encounter in everyday life. Coal reflects about 5% of the light that hits it. Now imagine something that makes coal look shiny. That's TRES-2b. This gas giant, sitting about 750 light-years from Earth, reflects less than 1% of the light that reaches its surface. To be precise, it absorbs all but 0.1% of incoming light. As astronomer David Kipping from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics put it, it's darker than the blackest lump of coal, than dark acrylic paint you might paint with. It's just ridiculous how dark this planet is. So what would you actually see if you could somehow get close to TRES-2b? Almost nothing. A faint, eerie, reddish glow from its superheated atmosphere, which sits at around 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's it. The rest is pure, light-swallowing darkness. And here's the thing that makes this even creepier. Scientists still don't fully understand why it's so dark. They've identified chemicals like vaporized sodium and potassium and titanium oxide in its atmosphere that could absorb light, but none of them fully explain this level of blackness. It remains one of the genuine mysteries of exoplanet science. Number 4. HD 189733b, the glass rain planet. You look at this planet through a telescope, and you see a gorgeous, deep cobalt blue. It's actually stunning. You might even think it looks peaceful, maybe even Earth-like. You'd be dead wrong. That beautiful blue color comes from silicate particles in the atmosphere. In simpler terms, glass. And that glass doesn't just float around up there, it rains sideways. HD 189733b sits only 64.5 light-years away in the constellation Vulpecula, making it one of the closest terrifying exoplanets to your home. Its winds scream across the planet at 5,400 miles per hour, which is 7 times the speed of sound. So when those tiny shards of glass condense and fall as rain, they don't fall down. They fly horizontally, ripping through the atmosphere like a planet-wide sandblaster made of molten glass, heated to over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. If you could somehow stand on this world, you wouldn't last a fraction of a second. You'd be shredded and incinerated simultaneously. Number 3. KELT-9b, the planet hotter than most stars. You probably think of stars as the hottest objects in the universe, and planets as their cooler companions. KELT-9b obliterates that assumption entirely. Located 670 light-years from Earth, this ultra-hot Jupiter has dayside temperatures approaching 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. To put that in perspective, that's hotter than the surface of about 80% of all the stars in our galaxy. The upper layers of its atmosphere may reach a staggering 19,000 degrees Fahrenheit, driven by the ionization of heavy metal atoms like iron. The heat is so extreme that molecules literally cannot hold themselves together. Hydrogen gas gets ripped apart into individual atoms on the day side, then flows to the slightly cooler night side, where the molecules briefly reform, only to get torn apart again when they cycle back around. Scott Gowdy from Ohio State University, who led the discovery paper, said it perfectly. KELT-9b shows us there's a lot of weird stuff out there, and Mother Nature is way more imaginative than we are. This planet is dying. It's losing mass at a rate of up to 10 trillion grams per second. In about 300 million years, most of the planet could simply evaporate, leaving behind nothing but a bare rocky core, stripped and scorched. Number 2. WASP-76b, the Iron Rain planet. You've heard of acid rain. You've heard of freezing rain. Now try to wrap your mind around iron rain. WASP-76b orbits its star at a distance of just 3.1 million miles, completing a full orbit in only 1.8 days. Its dayside reaches around 4,350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to vaporize iron. Actual metallic iron floating in the atmosphere as gas. Then winds, clocking 18,000 kilometers per hour, carry that iron vapor to the night side, where temperatures drop just enough for the iron to condense and fall as liquid metal rain. David Ehrenreich from the University of Geneva, who led the study announced in March 2020, explained it simply. The only explanation possible for this phenomenon is that it rains iron on the dark side of this exoplanet. As if iron rain wasn't enough, in 2024, astronomers detected what they believe is a glory effect on WASP-76b, a rainbow-like optical phenomenon, marking the first time anything like it has been observed on a planet outside our solar system. So you've got a world where rainbows are made of iron vapor, beautiful and absolutely horrifying at the same time. Before we get to number 1, there are 2 honorable mentions you need to know about. First, WASP-12b. This is a planet that's literally being eaten alive by its own star. It orbits so close, just 2.1 million kilometers away, that tidal forces have stretched it into the shape of a football. Its atmosphere has ballooned to nearly 3 times Jupiter's radius, and material is actively spilling onto the star. Scientists estimate that in roughly 3 million years, WASP-12b will spiral inward and be completely consumed. You're looking at a planet in the final act of its existence. Second, the pulsar planets. Back in 1992, astronomers Alexander Wolszczan and Dale Frail discovered something that should not exist: planets orbiting a dead star. PSRB 1257+12 is a pulsar, the rapidly spinning remnant of a supernova explosion, rotating 160.8 times per second. Yet 3 planets orbit this cosmic corpse, bathed in constant lethal radiation. They're named Draugr, Poltergeist, and Phobator, after undead creatures and gods of nightmares. These are genuinely zombie worlds, born from stellar death, and they were the very first exoplanets ever confirmed. Now, number 1, rogue planets, the nightmare you can't see coming. Every other planet on this list orbits a star, which means you could theoretically see it, track it, study it, and most importantly, avoid it. Rogue planets don't give you that luxury. These are worlds that have been ejected from their solar systems entirely, drifting through the void of interstellar space with no sun, no light, no warmth, just eternal darkness and cold. They're everywhere. Scientists estimate that the Milky Way alone may contain billions to trillions of rogue planets. In September 2020, astronomers detected the first Earth mass rogue planet, designated OGLE 2016 BLG 1928, completely unbound to any star. In January 2025, researchers led by Professor Subo Dong at Peking University confirmed the first rogue planet with a measured mass and distance, sitting about 10,000 light-years away with 70 times Earth's mass. As Dong stated, our discovery offers further evidence that the galaxy may be teeming with rogue planets. In 2025, astronomers observed a rogue planet called CHA 1107 7626, just 620 light-years away, devouring gas and dust from its surroundings at 6 billion tons per second, the strongest growth rate ever recorded for any planet. It's behaving more like a star than a planet. The James Webb Space Telescope has since uncovered additional rogue planet candidates in the NGC 1333 cluster, and NASA's upcoming Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, launching in 2027, is expected to find many more. The most terrifying thing about rogue planets isn't any single extreme condition. It's the idea that invisible worlds, massive and untethered, are silently drifting through the galaxy right now, and you would never see one coming. So the next time you complain about bad weather, just remember, somewhere out there, it's raining molten iron, glass is flying sideways at supersonic speeds, and entire planets are being swallowed by their stars. Suddenly, a little rain on your commute doesn't seem so bad.